Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a sports betting perspective, with pro handicappers Alex B. Smith and veteran sports writer Jimmy Murphy. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network, Friday, January 7th. Ian Cameron with you. We may have Andrew McInnis with us momentarily. Jimmy, one of those days he's under the weather today, unfortunately. We'll have him back on Monday. We're hoping to have Alex B. Smith back with us, too, at some point very shortly as well. So looking forward to that. We know he's had a lot to deal with, but looking forward to having him back on the Ice Guys in the near future. We have a short card tonight. We have just two games in NHL action. So we'll start the show what we always do on these days, like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday with a shorter slate. We'll look back on last night and see what happened in the NHL. We'll just go around. We'll just do some of the marquee games. We won't talk too much about, San Jose, Buffalo. San Jose won 3-2. Pittsburgh, they beat Philly 6-2. We kind of saw that coming with the Flyers struggling, tough spot off a long road trip back home. Pittsburgh, goal scoring splurge continues for the Penguins. Another 6th spot last night. They're feeling it offensively. Avalanche to put the boots to the Jets 7-1. Man, is that team just dangerous as hell right now with what we're seeing from them. The upset of the night, Arizona taking down Chicago 6-4. Alex B. Smith, not a happy Blackhawks fan. If you saw some of our Twitter DM conversations, you'll know that. Very disgusted with Arizona beating Chicago last night. Nashville beats LA 4-2. Vegas, very impressive. And to be honest with you, I would not have liked the Rangers as much had I known Georgiev would have been in net in the last minute because Shesterkin's in protocol. And had I known Mark Stone was coming back, which obviously was a last-minute thing as well, but that definitely tilted the scales in Vegas's favor and played a great hockey game, 5-1 to snap their little mini 2-game skid. Minnesota with a 3-2 win against Boston, a nice underdog winner. A lot of us kind of leaned with Minnesota or bet Minnesota in that game, and Matthew Boldy with the game-winning goal in his first ever NHL game. Gets his first NHL goal. Phenomenal stuff. And right by his hometown as well, Massachusetts kid. A great thing to see that for Minnesota. And they snap a 5-game losing streak with a much-needed win. What else do we see? New Jersey beat Columbus in a surprisingly low-scoring game, given the way those two teams have played lately. Dallas in a wild one, 6-5 over Florida in a shootout. So give Dallas credit. That was a sloppy game like we thought, right? Dallas hadn't played in forever. A lot of wayward defensive play on both ends. Really good performance in net from Holtby, believe it or not. Florida definitely carried the play through extended stretches of that game, but Holtby held the fort for a long part of it. And Tampa Bay, 4-1 against Calgary. Not a good road trip for Calgary. And this is kind of a referendum, this road trip for Calgary, on just how good they are. They've had to play Florida. They've had to play Tampa Bay. Well, they've come up small and come up short in both of those instances, and we'll talk about it in a minute. Now you got to play your third road game in 4 nights against every bit as tough a team, Carolina tonight. So very, very tough situation for Calgary, and they're not passing the grade right now against some of the better teams here that they're playing on this current road trip. Andrew, we'll start with you. Welcome you in first on this Friday show, and thoughts from last night.
Good to be here, Ian. Last night, that Columbus Blue Jackets game against the Devils, it seemed like every single person liked the over in that game, including myself. I had a small little lean on it. Ended up going small on the play. I didn't have a big play on it, thank goodness. But I probably wouldn't have regretted it if I did. They're playing again tomorrow, I believe. But that was a game of posts, one post after the other. I don't always, I try and watch every game, but it's hard to watch, every second of every game, obviously. But whenever I did tune in to watch that game, it was one post after the other. That Avalanche game, man, I thought we might see a chance for the Jets to at least cash in on their team total or something. But man, I'll be someone to reiterate what I've been saying about this Avalanche team. If you like the Avalanche, take their team total over, because you can turn a minus 240 into a minus 150 in just a matter of minutes by taking that team total over. The Avalanche continue to roll. How about that top line, Landeskog, McKinnon, Rantanen, and then the Golden Knights, like you said. There was just something fishy to me about that line there. Everyone said it was, really, really good price on the Rangers on the road, which it was. But, I think the Golden Knights got up for that game. I mentioned yesterday on the show, I wasn't lining up to bet the Rangers by any means. And the depth did show up a little bit for the Vegas Golden Knights. But to your point, with DraftKings being a sponsor of the National Hockey League and all kinds of other sports books being a part of it, they cannot be happy to see Shesterkin getting announced out like that, 10 minutes before the game, because that's just not good for the sports book. Sports books won't be happy for that stuff. A lot of people I respect in the MLB betting community, I know they weren't happy seeing, scratches to lineups as far as pitchers go last summer. But Coyotes beating the Hawks, I hate to say it, I'm not really surprised. If that was a win for the Coyotes to get, that was probably the one. If there was a game for them, I did like the over in that game, so it was kind of nice to cash. I swear, Ian, that theory of two shitty teams playing each other to go over the total is one of my new favorite automatic bets. Like when there's two teams that are crappy, even look in the NFL, it happens all the time because they get up more for those games. They feel like they can actually do it. But the Panthers kind of ruined a perfect night for me. They ruined a big night for me. 6-5. Hats off to the Stars. The first period over cash, the play I really liked. Yep. That was Dallas's first game in 16 days. But they scored 6 goals, man. It looked pretty good.
And they continue to play well on home ice. I mean, that's where they've done most of their damage this year. They've been pretty good at home, pretty dreadful on the road. There's a few other teams that fall into that category, but definitely Dallas, one of them. All right, let's go to tonight's games. We got 2 of them on tap here. Calgary taking on Carolina. We got the Hurricanes minus 180, home favorites. The total in this one, 6 shaded to the under in this matchup. I mean, man, you talk about putting one team in such a better situation. I mean, Carolina's been sitting there for almost a full week. They've had 6 days since their last game on New Year's Day when they came back from 4-0 down to beat the Columbus Blue Jackets 7-4. That for their 4th straight win. They're 8-1 in their last 9 games. They've got 6 days of rest now, waiting at home for Calgary for this game. A lot of practice time was able to be done for the Hurricanes this week for Rod Brind'Amour, and he was talking about how that was a good thing for his team. Had a chance to work on some things. And here's Calgary now, 3rd road game in 4 nights after 2 grueling affairs against 2 of the best teams in the NHL, Tampa Bay and Florida. How's this fair if you're a Flames fan? But that's the way the schedule goes in the course of a 82-game regular season. There's sometimes you get the good side of the schedule in a particular night, and some games where you don't get a good shake of the schedule. And definitely you have a scheduling advantage here, heavy one toward Carolina. I definitely don't like Calgary tonight. We've seen them now fail in 2 step-up-in-class games on this road trip against the Lightning and the Panthers. Jacob Markstrom is in net, and he's not exactly played well since this break to return to action. He gave up 6 goals in the loss to Florida against Florida earlier this week. Of course, they gave Vladar the start last night against Tampa Bay. Maybe the rest helps him out, but boy, since the break, you've seen him give up 4 to Seattle. He had the 1 game against Chicago. He played pretty well. And then, of course, the 6th spot that he surrendered against the Florida Panthers the other night. So it's a tough spot. 3-4, 4-6 here for the Calgary Flames, whereas Carolina's been off for almost a week. So I don't want to lay $1.80. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it simple here and go team total route. And that's what I've been doing a lot more lately. I don't love a price. I'll just go the team total route instead. And for me, that's Carolina over 3.5 with their team total, which you can get around even money plus 100 in this one. You look at Carolina, 5-5-4-7. That's the goals they've scored their last 4 games during this win streak. That'll get the job done here with this team total. The Flames have had trouble keeping the puck out of their own net against, and it could have been worse against the Lightning last night if, they don't hold the fort with their goaltending from Vladar. I thought was pretty good early in the game. Good. And then the dam burst a little bit as that game went on. So I think this is definitely more than reasonable to expect Carolina to cash in and find the back of the net 4 times here tonight against this road-weary Calgary team. Again, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights. And these 3 games have all been against heavyweights, juggernauts. It takes a lot out of you. So Carolina team total over 3.5. Not going to really overcomplicate it. I think that's the best way to approach it if you like the Hurricanes tonight. Unless maybe, as Chris Otto says in the chat, maybe a first period puck line -0.5, just maybe to jump on Calgary early in the game with those live, fresh legs from the 6-day break. You could see that as well for Carolina tonight. Andrew, your thoughts here? Flames and Hurricanes, fresh off obviously winning with Tampa last night against them.
Yeah, it was nice to have that. The line movement was crazy overnight yesterday. I ended up having to get it on regulation, not play that on the money line, so I didn't want any funny business. But Ian, you know those games you bet on where your team's dominating but they can't finish, and then the other team gets a power play. That's how I felt with Calgary yesterday. Tampa had 12 shots, I think, in the first 10 minutes of the game. It felt like, but they couldn't score. And then Calgary got a penalty or power play, and I was like, oh boy. Please don't be one of these games where my team dominates and then the other team scores a quick goal on me. But look, the Calgary Flames, I think I said it before, I'll say it again. I might be the lowest on the Flames than anybody else I know. I don't really respect this team as far as their depth. I think they have several guys that can contribute. But when the going gets rough and on a road trip and stuff like that, I'm not so sure they have the guys that can step up. And you're starting to see a little bit of a crack in the goaltending. And I think sometimes goalies like Markstrom make their teams look a heck of a lot better than they actually are. So, I've got that plus 400 ticket on the Canucks to make the playoffs here. We're looking at a Pacific Division that's very competitive. The Canucks have 35 points. The Flames have 40, and they're in third place in that division there. The Flames are playing some tough teams. They're traveling more. I know they have been pretty good historically on the road. Look, I locked in at I think it was minus 112, 115, a Carolina in regulation here. I'm not thinking twice about it. Just the same thing. You're not thinking twice about your team total here. And I'm someone that doesn't always like betting teams that have been sitting for a while, but I think Carolina's sitting and waiting. I'll take that over Calgary kind of playing a game like they did last night. So you like the team total over, Ian, but I kind of lean towards the under. And now hearing you say that kind of has me worried here with the under. Obviously, I want to cheer on for you to get a bunch of goals here. I feel like if Calgary even contends in this game, I have a feeling that it's low scoring.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the risk, 3-1 Carolina, which would fall short of the team total. Could see that. Definitely. This is a good defensive team, obviously, Carolina. Not against Columbus, but I didn't think they gave up a ton against Columbus in terms of chances. They only gave up 18 shots in that game. And yet here they were down 4-0. It's just because they had some crazy bounces that went Columbus's way early in that game on that Saturday afternoon on New Year's Day. Not necessarily an effective bad defense or terrible goaltending. A lot of bounces went Columbus's way, and just some goals that I think you couldn't have really done much about if you're Carolina. But they were carrying the play significantly in that game, and clearly it started to finally show in the score with Carolina erasing that 4-0 deficit and winning that game 7-4. So coming back to win it. So yeah, you always worry there's that 3-1 result, but you look at Carolina, they've scored at least 4 in 4 straight games. And you look at the Flames, they've given up 4 or more in 3 of their last 4 games, only held Chicago below 4 goals, since the break.
Mm-hmm.
So this team has conceded more goals, given up more. And you can't, Sutter's going to want him to buckle down defensively tonight. You know that. And him doing his faces there on the bench late in that game last night, you could tell he was not happy that.
It's like he's trying to think about what he should say.
Like the beer face. Yeah. Sour beer, sour wine face. It is. It's like.
And he's looking around at nobody. He's like.
I love doing the Sutter face. It's hysterical. Yeah. That's the way he looks. I mean, he's got a man of a million faces behind that bench. It's just that's Daryl Sutter. It's been that way for years with him.
Well, he's a great coach when his system's going well, and when it's not, then he's pissed. He's always calm, collective, and great with the media when things are going well and they're on a winning streak. Look at the emoji that Howie feeling just put in. That's pretty much it right there. The squiggly mouth. But the funny thing is about the NHL is that it's streaky, right? We see teams, you try and follow their schedule and you try and figure out when are they going to get cold, when are they going to get hot. And with Calgary right now, and with having this Carolina team playing, having the rest that they've had, Ian, would you say that Carolina's a team that you might not worry about under 4+ days of rest compared to some other teams? Because for me, I would say that often I worry about too much rest, but with a team like Carolina, I don't have a worry with it.
Yeah, especially with them being at full strength. And by the way, here's another reason not to worry about it. 4-0, 3 days rest or more this year, the Carolina Hurricanes. So that tells you all you need to know right there. Extended rest has been a good thing for this hockey team. Undefeated, 4-0. That is 3 days rest or more this season. Now, this is 6. This is more than, say, 3, 4, 5, which is probably the day's rest for some of those, a couple extra more days of rest here. But still, that's still enough evidence to tell me that when they've had a few days off, some extra practice time, it's actually enhanced their play.
It's worked well for them, yeah. Good coaching staff. Good coaching staff.
Good coaching staff, veteran team. Like these guys, a lot of these guys have been around now a long time. Aho, Svechnikov, Teravainen up front, Niederreiter. And by the way, they were all feeling good offensively as well going into this little mini 6-day break. So Calgary's going to need to be on their toes tonight in their own end to be able to hold down Carolina right now. By the way, the goaltender for Carolina, of course, will be Freddie Anderson, as we expected.
Who's been great.
Who has been very good for Carolina. And look, it's been good for Toronto. I mean, he needed a change. He's done well in Carolina. Toronto's doing well with their goaltending without Freddie Anderson. So everybody's happy right now after the end of the relationship with the Leafs and Anderson after last year. All right, Washington, St. Louis. We've got even money here. Both sides -110, 6.5 the total in this game. The Capitals still have a bunch of questionables going into this game tonight against the Blues. Samsonov confirmed in net. You're still looking at absences to Backstrom, Anthony Mantha, and TJ Oshie, all expected to not be in the lineup tonight. Backstrom due to illness. Mantha's still battling that shoulder injury that he's had for some period of time. And Oshie as well is not expected to play tonight due to a non-COVID illness. It's an illness, but apparently not COVID-19. So a couple of absences here for Washington. Both of these teams coming off a loss, so it's not an easy decision here to fade either team. I'd expect good effort. Washington lost 4-3 to New Jersey the other night. This could be one of those games where the 6.5 has you leaning under, believe it or not, because Peter Laviolette was bemoaning the defensive play of the Capitals in that New Jersey game. Talking about just gave up. You can't win with 20 chances allowed, is something along those lines he said following that game against New Jersey. So that could be a sign that maybe the Capitals want to buckle down tonight. I think the Blues do as well. They played that wild 6-4 game against Minnesota that they won, but they followed it up, gave up the third period lead against Pittsburgh on Wednesday night in the TNT game, and they ended up losing 5-3, gave up 41 shots in that game. Samsonov for Washington. Probably we'll see Binnington in net tonight for the Blues. So we'll see how this one goes. As far as series history, we talk about these teams. Even Washington has been trending under lately. You look at them; they're 6-3 to the trending over lately, I should say, 6-3 to the over in their last 9 games. St. Louis had been going under, but they've gone over in 2 straight. But get the sense tonight with that, especially with that total being 6.5, this could stay under. Last 2 meetings have gone under the total. Both teams maybe talking a little bit about playing better in their own ends. So could be an under, but the best bet I would make on this game, or the strongest opinion I should say I have on this game, I haven't bet it yet. I'm contemplating, but it would be St. Louis here, -110. At home, they've been terrific this year, the Blues. You look at this home record, 12-5 on home ice. They're a little bit healthier than the Capitals. Let's be honest, everybody's good to go except for Tarasenko, I should say. That's the one piece that's not going to be on the ice for the Blues tonight. He was just added to the protocol list for COVID-19 yesterday. But everybody else is back. They just got Braden Shen back. So I would lean still St. Louis here, -110. I'm going to probably look more toward props in this game. And for St. Louis, it stands out. Jordan Kyrou is just someone you got to back right now in terms of scoring goals for this team. He's been magnificent. He's getting opportunities. He's cashing in with those opportunities right now for the Blues. And with the absence of Tarasenko tonight, you're going to see Jordan Kyrou on the second line with Robert Thomas and Braden Shen. Shen's another potential candidate here maybe to find the back of the net tonight. Saad, Sundqvist, and Perron is what Craig Berube is looking like he's going with for his top line, which is interesting. You know what that tells me too? Sundqvist, especially being elevated to a top line center role, he wants a more defensive conscience and presence up there because Sundqvist's pretty good as a defensive center. So that kind of tells me that this is a coach and Craig Berube that's kind of looking for his team to be a little bit better in their own end tonight. He's like elevating a defensive-minded center up the lineup here. Like Sundqvist on the top line with Saad and Perron kind of leads you to indicate the Blues want to be a little bit tidier tonight with the puck. So I would lean St. Louis minus 110, but goal scorer prop-wise, definitely for St. Louis, I would look Jordan Kyrou. I would look Braden Shen. First game back, he scored as well for St. Louis the other night. Those are two solid goal scorer prop options. I mean, Kyrou, it goes without saying, just how magnificent he's been lately for the St. Louis Blues during this recent stretch. He scored 4 goals in the last 3 games, all since the break. 4 goals in the last 3 games, and he has 9 shots on goal in those 3 games combined. So not only is he scoring, but he's getting the chances. He's getting the shots on net. So Jordan Kyrou is just someone you got to go with right now because he's absolutely feeling it right now. And after what I saw from Brian Rust the last 2 nights against St. Louis and Philly, you got to take that guy's props right now. Brian Rust killing it for the Penguins on the top line right now with Crosby and Gensel. So remember that for tomorrow when Pittsburgh plays Dallas, that Brian Rust is not someone you want to step in front of right now for the Penguins, the way he's going. So yeah, Kyrou props, Shen props, and I lean St. Louis in this game. Andrew, what do you think here, Capitals Blues?
Look, the problem is, Ian, I've kind of made arguments for both teams all day long, and when that happens, that's when you say pass, because there's no point in spending so much time debating with yourself, because whatever side you take
you make yourself crazy if you do it for an hour or two and you can't.
Yeah. So because there's arguments you can make honestly on both ends. So I'll tell you 2 picks I've locked in for this, 3 actually. They're all props, small unit plays. John Carlson over 2.5 shots on goal, minus 125. John Carlson to get a point, minus 125. Jordan Kyrou to get a point, minus 120. Actually, that's elevated quite a bit looking at DraftKings now. That's going up there a little bit. But Kyrou is playing real well since the return.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only concern is that, look, it's getting headlines now. It's getting notice, across the hockey world, just how good Jordan Kyrou's been lately. So I think you're going to start to see, if not already see, diminished value on some of his point props, goal scorer props. Like you could have gotten Jordan Kyrou to score goals around plus 250, plus 300, in previous games since the break. You're looking at closer to plus 200, plus 210 in that range for Kyrou to score tonight. So still good though, with the way he's going. 4 goals in 3 games, still north of plus 200 in some spots. It's still a good price though. For Kyrou tonight in this game for the Blues. Yeah, Rich.
Ian, do you ever load up on one player, like go small on an assist, point, and goal, or are you mostly just a goal? Because I mostly hear you just talking about goal scoring props. You don't.
I look at the points. I look at the points, but I'm just one of those people that, I like the Kyrou to score a point, which is minus 120, but I just rather take the chance on the plus number. You know what that's like. It's just a little more bang for your buck. But I agree completely with looking at a Kyrou points prop tonight, no doubt.
There was one goal scoring one I actually wanted to bring up. I think it was Sprong. I think it was Daniel Sprong, plus 300.
Yeah.
For the Washington Capitals. That's where, look, they've been a lot deeper than people think if you look at their goal scoring. And they've got some serious injuries tonight. There are some guys out of the lineup. I think we're going to see a balanced ice time amount for a lot of these lines. And I feel like plus 300 is pretty good price there for a guy that pretty much has the green light to shoot. I watched him play junior. I know that all he's about is shooting. Whenever he gets the puck, he shoots it. So I think it's a good price, plus 300 there for him.
Yeah, I'm looking. And did he do something to piss off Peter Laviolette? They've got him slotted on the 4th line tonight.
I know.
That would be the only concern I have with that bet is he.
But I think that's why it's plus 300.
Yeah, I think so, because they've got him with Connor McMichael on a 4th line tonight. So that's got doghouse, player in the doghouse written all over it, because that guy's better than a 4th line player. When he's on his game, definitely that's the case.
And he's not really that physical either. So that makes it,
Yeah, that's that when I'm looking at that and saying, what did he do to make the coach upset? Because clearly, or maybe he's just looking to elevate someone that's playing better right now for Washington at the moment. But definitely that was a head scratcher to me to see that. That's why it's always good. Look at these line combinations. There's so many sites you can find these, and I've got these open every show. Like I can see line combinations.
Oh,
and
me too.
These are not always
For the record, Ian, I knew he was on the fourth line.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you knew. Yeah, but yeah, and the reason why is because they're not set in stone, these lines, but they're pretty accurate. They're more accurate than not in a lot of situations with a lot of teams. So, yeah, I just have a hunch, Rich, that it'll be Binnington. We don't have a confirmation yet that it'll be Binnington, but I would expect that to be the case. But as always, you never know. Like I was expecting Shesterkin last night for the New York Rangers, and it wasn't Shesterkin. He was projected, but he ended up not playing. It was Alexander Georgiev instead for the New York Rangers last night. So it could still be Billy Husso. We'll have to wait and see. But we do know it'll be Samsonov in net. We got 3 of the 4 goalies confirmed for tonight's games. Markstrom for Calgary, Anderson for Carolina, Samsonov for Washington. We're just waiting to see who will be in net here for the St. Louis Blues tonight. Great stuff with Andrew. Again, short show, short card on a Friday. That'll all change tomorrow. We will be back with you tomorrow at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific for a big Saturday slate, even with 3 games postponed. Seattle, Winnipeg, Buffalo, Montreal, and the Islanders and the Oilers. Those 3 games have been postponed for Saturday. Even with those games postponed, we're still looking at 12 games on the NHL card tomorrow, 12, a dozen to break down on the show tomorrow. So including an afternoon game, Pittsburgh and Dallas. So that's what we've got coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to the Saturday show right here, the Ice Guys with the Hockey Podcast Network. And a reminder about DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. And they work alongside us here at, of course, the Ice Guys and the Hockey Podcast Network. Again, new customers, take advantage of the great offer that DraftKings is able to offer you. Bet just $1 on any NHL game. That's all it takes. And if either team scores a goal, you win $100 in free bets. It's that simple. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, no worries. You can still play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Hockey Contest. DraftKings giving all new customers a free shot and millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN, throw down $1 on any NHL game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. Promo code THPN this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. An official sports betting partner of the NHL, must be 21 years of age or older, must reside in a DraftKings Sportsbook state. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required, 1 per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Download the DraftKings app, sign up for an account, use the promo code THPN. All right, time for best bets. There's not much to choose from, just 2 games. We'll have a best bet either way. Andrew, what do you got for best bet for Friday?
I'm going to go with the John Carlson over 2.5 shots prop here. We got some injuries, some guys out for the Capitals. Obviously, a defenseman that gets in the action quite a bit on the power play as well. I think it's a good price there. 2.5 over 2.5 shots. John Carlson, defenseman for the Capitals.
All right, there you go. John Carlson over shots for Andrew McInnis with his best bet. I was tempted to go with a prop for best bet today with Kyrou to score. And I really like that one. I like that one more than the other props. I probably will have actually a quarter unit on that, which is not the case usually for me with props. So a little bit more than I would put on a standard prop bet. But I like that one at plus 210. But for best bet, I'll go with Carolina team total over 3.5, right around even money. I think they get to 4 tonight. Carolina's been giving up goals. Carolina has scored 4+ goals in each of the 4 games they've played during this win streak. And if they get to that tonight, we're a winner. So Carolina team total over 3.5, even money. That'll be my best bet for this Friday card. And that'll wrap it up for this edition of the Ice Guys. We thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on YouTube on the way out. And a reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. Download the Ice Guys podcast whenever you can't tune in and watch the show live. For Andrew McInnis, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Saturday to break down the massive 12-game Saturday NHL card right here on the Ice Guys, presented by the Hockey Podcast Network.